2022 is in our rear view mirror now, you guys. We are in a whole new year of 2023. Hope you all had a great, blessed new year. Hope you are recovering from your hangovers, because I sure the hell am. Had to get some throw up out of my system. So now we are here. I know the video's coming out a little bit late, but we here. That's all that matters. So we're just gonna go straight right into it. This is going to be a video talking about my most anticipated films of 2023, as this year looks completely stacked, month to month to month, non-stop bangers. It looks like that we're getting all throughout this year, looking like 2019 vibes all over again. So let's go ahead and get straight right into it. And I want to, before I go into my 10 most anticipated films, I have some honorable mentions that I do want to bring up here and now. These films I'm very much looking forward to and have interest in. There's just some minor little skepticisms that I have working against them. That's why they did not quite make my most anticipated, but they do deserve to be mentioned. And I want to kick off my honorable mentions with this film. Now, this is a film that is being both written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and Ben Affleck is in the director's chair for this film. And this is the movie about the Nike executive leading Nike in its pursuits to signing Michael Jordan to create the signature shoe of the Jordan 1, 2, 3, all the way through, and that is the Air Jordan movie. Now, the reason why this film didn't quite make my most anticipated of the year is because it's for the sole reason is that it has no release date coming yet at all. There's no release date listed for this film, but it says that the film has completed shooting. But I'm very curious as to what's going on with the release date. So there's a chance this film might not even be released this year. It could be released in 2024. We never know. But if I were to guess, they're probably going to try to save off this film for Oscar season because they know they have something great. The cast looks stacked in this film. You got Chris Tucker in there. You got Viola Davis involved. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck will star in the film as well. I believe I saw Marlon Wayans is going to be in the film. This cast looks stacked. I have a bunch of Jordans all throughout my closet, so you know I'm finna be in there like swimwear, wearing one of my J's. Either it's gonna be the 1s or the 11s. I can already feel it, and that is why I cannot wait for the Air Jordan movie. Next up on my honorable mentions list is going to be the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Now, the trailers for this film visually look fantastic. It looks visually beautiful. You know, when they announced the Super Mario Bros. Movie, it's something that's like, you know, when you list off a bunch of like IPs to where you can make movies off of from games and whatnot, Super Mario Bros. Doesn't come off the top of the head. I mean, they did try that live action version way back in the day, and we should probably leave that one in the past and just not talk about that whatsoever. But Super Mario Bros., some of the voice acting is going to be great. Chris Pratt is still a little bit iffy for me as the lead of Mario in this film. He has a bit of a New York / Boston type Italian accent. You hear little mixes of the Mario game voice in there. But, you know, the voice acting should not be too much of a problem. I think he'll do just fine. I just know, looking back on it and thinking about it, who would want to sit there and watch a movie hearing a character talk like this to me and Mario for 2 hours straight? No. I do not want to hear that shit for 2 hours. So, Super Mario Bros., honorable mention. Next up on my honorable mentions is going to be for a film whose trailer just recently dropped last month, and that is Cocaine Bear. The premise for this movie sounds absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that this film is somewhat based on a true story of some drug dealers. They had a bag of cocaine fall out of a cargo plane, and it landed in a forest, and a bear comes in contact with the cocaine and lets loose and wreck shit all over a town. That being made into a movie actually makes perfect sense if you really think about it. Turning that into a film is genius, because this is a film where you could just sit there and have a lot of dumb fun all throughout in the theater with a packed audience watching the film, watching a bear let loose after coming into contact with cocaine. The trailer for it looks absolutely hilarious and bonkers. It can turn out to be a hot steaming pile of shit. I can see that coming from a mile away, but I'm hoping this film turns out well. I really, really do, because films like this one, just dumb fun. We need just minor films like that just to escape every now and then. So, Cocaine Bear, honorable mention. And for my last of my honorable mentions is a film where this franchise, normally this franchise of films would be automatically in my top 10 of the year. It'd probably be in my top 5 any other year. But coming off the last movie, you know, there's a lot more skepticism, and that's Fast and Furious 10. Or is it Fast 10? Fast X? Whatever dumb fucking title that they want to give to these movies, like Fate of the Furious, Fast... Duh. Just call it Fast 10. Fast and Furious 10. Simple. But with these movies, they've really gotten off the rails with this one. And if you've seen Fast 9, that movie was ridiculous. That was ridiculously dumb. I had fun with it still, but they took things way too far. Now, you can take things too far to an extent, and I wouldn't mind it. But when you fucking go just balls to the wall, just out of this world, literally out of this world, you have a car and you have duct tape surrounding it with a rocket engine to go out into space and to destroy a satellite. That is ridiculous. But it's Fast and Furious. It's Fast and Furious. I've been a fan of these films going all the way back to the first one. I love Vin Diesel in there. Rest in peace, Paul Walker. He was an instrumental part to the franchise. I love this cast of characters all together, and their banter and their interactions with each other. They're always great. Ludacris and Tyrese, they're great together. And a film about fast cars, seeing butt shots of women in their bikinis, and family is the 3 instrumental parts to the Fast and Furious movies. So hopefully this is somewhat of a part 1 to a 2-part franchise ending to the series. And I hope they can finish this series off on a high note and scale a little bit of the shit they pulled in Fast 9 back. When you see Vin Diesel pulling chains down from the roof and just the roof collapsing, you have a guy who's on the highway. His whole body should have been destroyed, being run into the highway signs. That film was just ridiculous. Fast 10, just scale it back a little bit and we're good. Go back to the 5, 6, 7 era. 7, you can push beyond the limits to an extent, and that's okay. Just keep it to that. Now that we got the honorable mentions out of the way, let's get straight to it with the 10 most anticipated films of 2023. We're going to kick off this list with Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. I love the Transformers. I love the Transformers franchise. I used to have some Optimus Prime toys back in my day in elementary, and I have a love-hate relationship when it comes to this franchise. The first Transformers movie was great. It was magnificent. Michael Bay, he did a great job with that film. Did it get a little bit over the top at times? Yeah, but it's Transformers, so you can let certain things slide, man, because we just want to see 2 robots fight each other all over a town. It's simple. Just that simple. Well, Michael Bay, he has to include his humor into films, and that is why Transformers 2, 4, and 5 fucking sucked. Those films sucked because Michael Bay is not funny. He's just not, in his stupid little dumb humor that he has. And then he had the human characters be the main focus instead of the Transformers in those films. So that is why I had a love-hate relationship with the Transformers movies until Bumblebee dropped, and Bumblebee was actually really great. Bumblebee is easily the best film of the Transformers franchise. And now with Transformers: Rise of the Beast, we have the director of Creed 2 directing this film, and the trailer drops for this one, and it looked great. It looks like the focus is going to be on the Transformers most of the time, and then the humans are going to be the background drop of the film, the heart of it. But we're going to have Transformers back in action, fighting each other. This film was in my most anticipated of 2022, but we're here now. The film is coming in 2023. Hopefully, no more release date moves, because the film this film drops around my birthday, and I hope I have a good movie birthday gift watching a good Transformers movie. That's all I want. Alrighty, coming in at number 9. It is going to be Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Now, the first Shazam movie, that movie was really great. It was really heartfelt, and the best part of that film was the foster family aspects of the film. And now with this one, we're bringing in the full-fledged Shazam family and his foster brothers and sisters. They gain the powers of Shazam as well. So seeing that dynamic throughout the film is going to be great to see. We got Lucy Liu coming in as a villain of the film, and this film should be great. Number 8, we got Christopher Nolan coming back. He's coming to direct a film. Automatically, the Christopher Nolan directed film is going to make our most anticipated of the year. And that film that he's making is called Oppenheimer. Now, this film is going to follow J. Robert Oppenheimer and his group of scientists as they get to developing the atomic bomb. And what I've heard about this film, in that he actually somewhat tried to reinvent, well, not necessarily Christopher Nolan reinvent the atomic bomb, but somehow get a realistic looking version of it to capture on screen, on film. That sounds fantastic. And this movie, you got Cillian Murphy coming in as the lead as Oppenheimer. Robert Downey Jr. is in the film as well. There's a pretty stacked cast all involved, and you got Christopher Nolan back directing. What more can you say? That's all you got. That's all you got to say. Oh, Christopher Nolan has a movie coming out. I'm in there. Most anticipated of the year. It's at number 8 for me. Number 7, we're bringing sports movies into the mix, and that movie is Creed 3. That first Creed movie came out of nowhere as a surprise. I remember when they first announced that they were making that film, I was looking forward to it, and Ryan Coogler just knocked that film out of the park. Michael B. Jordan is great as Adonis Creed, and then we get into Creed 2. Creed 2 was a damn good film. It's almost as good as the first Creed movie. Not quite, but almost as good. And now we have Michael B. Jordan in the director's chair for this Creed movie. And we also have my boy Jonathan Majors is playing the antagonistic role in this film. From what I gathered from the trailers is that these two had like some sort of brotherly friendship, and looks like Jonathan Majors' character took the rap for whatever happened to them when they were kids. So now he's out, he links up with Adonis, he's getting his boxing career going, and now they get to bumping heads because Jonathan Majors is looking like he's taking things too far, which is going to lead to them fighting. And I saw an IMAX trailer for this movie when I went to go watch Avatar in 3D IMAX, and Michael B. Jordan, he shot some of the boxing scenes with legit IMAX cameras, so you're going to have that IMAX enhanced aspect ratio for the boxing sequences in that film. I cannot wait to see how this turns out. The trailer looks great. I hope Michael B. Jordan succeeds in his directorial debut to where he can go on to continue to directing more films. Creed 3, number 7, most anticipated. Alrighty, at number 6 now, we have a film that we should have gotten filmed back to back with the first film of this set of films, and that's Dune Part II. Now, I didn't read the Dune books before watching the Dune movie. I haven't even watched the older Dune movies. I just haven't. I barely even recently came into contact with Dune as a whole when the movie was getting ready to be released and the making of the film. And going into that first Dune movie, I was wowed. I was wowed by the world building. I was wowed by the characters, the dialogue, the script, the direction of the film. This franchise has a magnificent future, and I am all in. Dune Part 2 dropping this year. I'm looking forward to it. They got the HBO Max show coming down the pipeline, and if Denis Villeneuve wants to direct a Dune Part 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever he wants to do, I'm all in, because this film has the potential to be something massive a massive franchise in the industry of film and TV. Dune Part II makes my number 6 on my most anticipated. We are getting ready to enter the top 5 of my most anticipated films of the year. We're gonna kick things off with a film that drops next month that my excitement keeps getting more higher and higher for the film, because there's a lot of mystery going into it, and that is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, the universal opinion on Phase 4 as a whole is that the MCU very much lacked a direction. We didn't know where everything was going. Everything just seemed like it was all over the place. We didn't know what's leading to. We know down the pipeline what's the next major, like big time Avengers level event film is Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty coming out 2025, 2026. So we're trying to figure out what's leading all to it. What's the steps that we're getting to head that direction, and what is going on in this multiverse saga that we're in. And I really feel that Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is going to answer a lot of those questions. There's some major hidden secrets, Easter eggs that I know they got filled all throughout that film. The director of this film, the first 2 Ant-Man movies were a bit palate cleansers. They were like smaller, lower level of the MCU as a whole when you really think about it. For this one, he said he wanted some sort of an Avengers type level film for this one, so I know this movie's gonna be massive. It looks absolutely crazy from the first trailer that we got. We're gonna get another one next week, right before the national championship college football game, and I cannot wait to see what all is answered throughout this film. Jonathan Majors as Kang, he looks villainous and vicious in the trailers, and I cannot wait to see this film next month. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is at number 5. In at number 4, which this is a little bit of a coincidence considering that this is the 4th film in this franchise. This is not planned in advance, no. That's going to be John Wick Chapter 4. When I went to watch that first John Wick movie, the trailer for it looked so simple, so dumb. Like, oh, he's getting revenge for a dog. And then you watch that movie, you're like, oh shit, this shit is awesome. They implemented the gun fu in it. Keanu Reeves is fantastic as John Wick in the film. We go into John Wick 2, they elevated even higher. John Wick 3 is the best of the franchise so far for me, because that film was non-stop. Some of the best fight sequences, gun fu action sequences that I've seen in film out of my 23 years of life. The film looks great. The trailer looks great. We're gonna learn more and more about the high table and who's running this whole international underworld of crime unit that's going on. More secrets are gonna be unveiled. John Wick 4 coming out, isn't it coming out in March, I believe? We're not too far away. John Wick 4 is coming down the way. It's at number 4 on my most anticipated of the year. Top 3 time. Top 3 of the year. Now, I'm having high hopes for these films to not let me down at all, because I would be very much disappointed, displeased with this if these 3 films turn out to be steaming piles of shit. But I have high hopes for them. And kicking off with my number 3 most anticipated films of the year, and that is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I know, 3rd film of the trilogy. Another coincidence, ranked at number 3. Guardians of the Galaxy, man. That first Guardians movie directed by James Gunn came out of nowhere as such a pleasant surprise. How magnificent that film is. And what really drives these films is that these group of characters, man, they're all great. They have fantastic chemistry with one another. You really feel like that's their little family dynamic that they built up within these films. The first Guardians movie was fantastic. The second one, not as good. I think I like it more than most people. I really do. It was still fun, but they took a little bit of the jokey elements a little bit too far to where they would ruin some serious dramatic moments as well. But we've seen James Gunn learn from that, as he's recently done the Suicide Squad for DC that turned out fantastic, and then he did Peacemaker earlier last year and what he brought out with John Cena, that show was one of the top 3 best shows of the year as well. So James Gunn, it's his last film that he has directed for Marvel before he moves over to DC and runs the DC division for Warner Bros. I cannot wait to see how this trilogy ends. The trailers for this movie look absolutely emotional. It's heartwarming. This is the last time we're gonna see this group of characters together, which means some characters might die. My money on who dies in this next Guardians movie is gonna be Drax, just because of his emotional journey of him losing his daughter and his wife because of Thanos, and now he's made a new family. And because of the whole James Gunn situation, when he originally got fired from directing Guardians 3, Dave Bautista has held nothing back on his thoughts and opinions on Disney as a whole. And so I definitely see him exiting and being one of the ones to die. Now, if James Gunn kills Rocket Raccoon in this film, me and him, we gonna have to sit down and have a little chat, man. Because that's gonna, if Rocket dies in this movie, that's gonna break people in this movie if he goes out. That's gonna break people if he dies in this film. But I don't think they'll go that far. I don't think so. Guardians 3, number 3 most anticipated film of the year. And number 2, we got Mr. Daredevil himself once again trying to top himself with the stunts he performs. And after watching the IMAX footage in front of Avatar: The Way of Water of one of the stunts that Tom Cruise is doing for this film, it just got me even much more excited for this film. And that's Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. This is a part 1 to a 2-part finale of this franchise. Tom Cruise, what he brought for Top Gun Maverick was fantastic. That was my number 4 favorite film of the year last year for me. And now he's bringing it back for Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, when they brought the franchise back, that film was fantastic. And then they got even better with Mission Impossible 5. And then we had Mission Impossible 6. Mission Impossible Fallout was my favorite film of the Mission Impossible franchise. That film was absolutely fantastic from start to finish. Tom Cruise, man, once you see some of the stunts that he's gonna do in this film, you are going to be wowed. Because this man, he does not give a fuck. I know outside of Tom Cruise, the filmmaker and actor, I don't care about his outside life. I just care about the movie life that he has. And this guy is fantastic. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, second most anticipated film of the year. Should be great. And now we are at my number 1. What is my most anticipated movie of the year? And if you know me, you all know who my favorite superhero of all time is. And anytime a movie of that character drops, it's instantly my most anticipated of the year, unless an Avengers movies drop. And you all should probably be able to guess it. It's Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. And now what's funny about this movie is that this film was in my most anticipated list of last year, because the film was supposed to release, I believe, last October, I think. And they pushed it back to June. Early June, they pushed the film back. And I didn't mind it, honestly, because looking back on it, when you see the animation style of Into the Spider-Verse, you can tell that shit was nowhere near easy to pull off. I could tell you that shit takes years to complete. And so they probably just needed a little bit more time just to perfect and get all the different animation styles off right. Because I could tell from the trailer, they're going to be using multiple types of animation styles for this film. Once again, the trailer was heartwarming. It looked great as well. That first Into the Spider-Verse movie, before Spider-Man No Way Home dropped in 2021, Into the Spider-Verse was easily the best Spider-Man movie ever made. And what's crazy is about that first Into the Spider-Verse movie, when Sony announced they were doing an animated Spider-Man movie, I was like, okay, that's pretty random. We shall see how this goes. And then I sat down in that theater and I was just like, whoa, this movie is good. And now we're going across the Spider-Verse. We're going to see a whole bunch of different Spider-Mans all throughout. You can tell some people are even more excited. We got the Scarlet Spider showing up in there. We even had the PS5 version of Spider-Man show up in the trailer. So he's in the film as well. We got the Peter B. Parker Spider-Man coming back from the Into the Spider-Verse movie for this one. We're going to expand more on the relationship between Gwen and Miles in this movie. And this film just looks great. And what really drove that Into the Spider-Verse movie, made it so great, was the characters of the film. It's the characters, and I hope they don't just go, hey, you see this Spider-Man in this one, you have this Spider-Man in this one, you have another Spider-Man. Look, guys, we have a whole new set of Spider-Man in this film. I hope there's actually going to be some layers, some depth to this movie like the first one did, and if so, if they can somewhat reach that magic of Into the Spider-Verse, we have something special on our hands. And that is why Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is my most anticipated movie of this year. That's my list for you all, you guys. Man, there's probably some more films that's gonna drop all throughout this year. Like some that may not have release dates for them yet that I'm looking forward to, but I didn't have the time to really just sit down and list them all off one by one for you all. Because this year looks stacked. We're coming off the pandemic era, and even last year in 2021, we were still feeling the heavy effects of the pandemic and what it had on the film industry, because so many films got pushed back into later years. And so now I think we're kind of back on track. Everything's aligned. Everything that's supposed to be released is going to more than likely release this year. Is there going to be delays for some films? More than likely there is. Hopefully for none of the films on this list. I sincerely hope not. And I hope we're just back to normal, back to those 2019 roots, like, because that year for film was stacked. That's probably one of my favorite years for movies ever out of my 23 years of life, 2019, because we had Endgame, we had Spider-Man drop that year. We had a Star Wars movie drop that year. That year gave us literally everything. I had to make a top 15 best movies of the year list that year because it was so stacked. And if things are looking right this year like it did in 2019, we're looking at the same revolving thing again. So I cannot wait to watch films all throughout this year. I'm gonna watch more movies this year than I ever have out of any year of my life, period. I'm going to have a whole bunch of reviews set up for you all throughout this year as well. So be on the lookout for that, man. And I cannot wait to continue talking movies with you all. Thank you all so much for being here with me today, hearing me ramble about my anticipated films of the year, and be on the lookout for future videos. So go ahead, hit that like button if you like the video, and subscribe to the channel as well so you can stay up to date on my updates on my videos coming all throughout. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. Hope you all have a great day.